Now, for more on the threat of ISIS, I'm joined by Jason Pack, founder of Eye on ISIS in Libya. Welcome back to Africa 54, Jason.
Nice to be here.
Now, everybody, you would imagine, would be excited. ISIS is being kicked out of Sirte. Question is, where does ISIS go when they get scattered?
Well, this is a major development, and it obviously is positive when ISIS is denied its third capital after Raqqa and Mosul in Syria and Iraq. But the ISIS fighters don't need territoriality and the controlling of territory to conduct attacks and to spread their ideology. Territory does help.
Yeah.
It allows them to raise taxes on the population, to import goods, to set up schools and train young people. So it's great to deny them that in Sirte. And I think Sirte will become less important for them as an escape hatch from the Middle East. So rather than defeating ISIS in Libya, which hasn't happened, Sirte's ability to be a point of refuge for defeated fighters in Syria and Iraq is now over. But where will those defeated fighters from Sirte go?
That's a big
question. I
question.
assume that they will go into the southern deserts of Libya or to African countries such as Niger and Mali, just as they did when the revolution in 2011 against Gaddafi forced many Islamist fighters and Tuareg militants to go from Libya to Mali.
So when they go down, of course, that's a big threat to the entire continent. The question is, what can be done to stop them from advancing southward?
Well, as you're well aware, the borders in the African continent are quite porous. Anyone can walk from Sudan to Libya, and this is a huge border. For example, the border between Chad and Libya. I'm not sure what can be done because the Chadian government lacks the resources to patrol that border. I think that what could have been done would have been to encircle Sirte via, one, a naval blockade, and two, pinning the fighters in by controlling the roads before attacking. They didn't do that, and a lot of these fighters have escaped.
So you sound like you're saying you have to literally eliminate every one of them to say you've succeeded.
It's not politically correct, but frankly, we're not fighting a group. We're fighting individual jihadi fighters because these fighters could rebrand themselves, function as Ansar al-Sharia, coordinate lone wolf attacks, or even carry out the internet jihad, which is the propagation of their ideology in ways that appeal to people in Europe and the United States. And frankly, to defeat these fighters, you have to defeat them, and that's on a one-to-one level.
And there has been a lot of debate, even at the presidential campaign level, about should there be boots on the ground in some of these neighborhoods. The U.S. has helped a lot in Libya, from the airstrikes. But then with that kind of, success, it means like the strategy will have to change. There have to be guys on the ground. Is that, from your perspective, the best way?
I don't believe in a boots-on-the-ground approach. I think the phasing of Western support to Libya has been incorrect. We have focused on the military and counter-terror angle first, and we're doing the political angle second. So that means that a genuine anti-ISIS coalition has never arisen. I would have rather it the other way, a real focus on the political, getting the Eastern General Haftar to work together with the Misratans, to work together with the Federalists, and then attacking the Islamic State. What we did is we attacked the Islamic State first. When they got bogged down, then we had U.S. airstrikes, and now we have some U.S. special ops, and then they're going to try to have a political process later. That's not the approach that I would favor. Also, it's important for the Libyans to see this as their victory. And that's why I didn't support, just one or two U.S. airstrikes that hit very small targets like, one building, or they hit a tank. That, to me, is not worth the political cost. I'd rather have just helped the Libyans win this battle themselves. So then they have the sense of responsibility that, wow, when we work together, we not only can defeat the Islamic State, but we can run our own country. And I think, unfortunately, misphased Western help has taken away the sense that this is a genuinely Libyan victory. So just at this moment that ISIS is being evicted from Sirte, the larger Libyan political process and the government of national accord is falling apart. Kind of paradoxical.
Which means there could be, a return at some point in a moment of weakness. But the question is, Can there be a preemptive action on the African front, like a buffer zone to prevent so many of these fighters from advancing?
This is a really great question.
Yeah.
I think that the French are thinking along those lines. They've long had special forces in Chad and in the southern part of Libya called Fezzan. I don't know what's set up, so I can't speak authoritatively about what's being done. But I like the idea of French forces working with the Nigerian and Chadian militaries to pick off these fighters as they try to circle down. Is that happening? Probably. How effective is it? I'm not sure. But you have to be doing this with the local people.
Okay.
If you have some French special ops, they can't win this fight. You need the Libyan people or the Chadian people to say, this is our fight. We want our country to be safe. We want our country to be unified. We don't want these jihadis to be recruiting in our towns.
Definitely.
They need to be engaged.
Indeed. And we hope, that will be that kind of a strategy, and I hope it will work.